If this is your first time coming to this podcast, man, welcome. And for those of you guys that have been listening to new, welcome back to this podcast episode. I'm your host, Stefan, Big Daddy Steph, whoever you want to call me, man. As long as it rhyme with Steph or Stefan, Steven, Spanish, Esteban. Yeah, habla español también. But anyway, this is an English show, so we will keep it English, right? So today we are going to talk about something I have lived through multiple times over the past few years. And you are probably wondering, what is it? What is it that Stefan lived through over the past few years? Well, it's about side hustle. Everyone got one. Oh, they are thinking maybe about starting one, right? How many times did you hear Gary Vee say that you should go ahead and start doing like garage sale and buy things from like those garage sale and go ahead and sell it on eBay or on the internet or maybe on Facebook Market? That is a side hustle. So everyone got one, right? But in today's days, the internet is flooded with like make 5 grand from your spare time, right? You how many times have you heard that? Make 5 grand from your spare time. Those are a lot of promises. But here is the truth. Most side hustle actually die within the first 6 months. And I'm not talking about like those ones that are like bad idea. I'm talking about like solid concept that just never cross the finish line. Today, man, I am breaking down exactly where that tipping point is and the one thing that actually makes a difference or makes the difference. You are listening to Bless One podcast, man, and hey, Big Steph is right here. So let's go ahead and dive right into it. So let me paint a picture for you. 2024, I am running like multiple side venture or side hustle right at the same time. Like I actually started my federal contract recently, but for in 2024, as you guys have seen, right, let me put this one right here on the screen. You see in Camel Crunch, right? The chips, plantain chip made out of olive oil. By the way, you can get some at camelcrunch.com. You know what I mean? Hey, support the show, support the brother out, So go ahead. And this is made out of olive oil. That is his particularity. Olive oil, Celtic salt, turmeric, all that good stuff that are good for you and your bones, right? So you can snack clean and organically. So anyway, I was running multiple side hustle in 2024, right? Camel Crunch was one of them, and I started government contracting. And what else? I was trying to do digital business as well. I put myself on standstill, so I was really grinding. But here is what I noticed: some of these were moving, some were stuck. Some of my, ventures, some are moving, and some were stuck. And the difference wasn't the idea because I have solid idea. When I came up with Camel Crunch, or when we came up with Camel Crunch, we were thinking about healthy snacks, something that is made with olive oil that is good for the heart, turmeric that is good for the bones, Celtic salt, which is the proper salt you should be putting in your body. And we were thinking more on like the healthy side. So as you can see, we are still trying to put something clean out there for our fan or our people to go ahead and enjoy, right? So it's not that it's a bad idea. The idea were solid. The difference is that I wasn't consistent. You have to be consistent. So it needed consistency because the consistency will create what we call momentum and what I will call as well as the tipping point. Jim Rohn always talk about the illusion of workout. You see how when you are working out the first week you are working out, like you don't really see a difference on your weight. Sometimes it takes you 1, 2, 3 weeks and you still don't see a difference. But by the third week, fourth week, since it takes 21 days to change your habit, by the third week, fourth week, all of a sudden one day you just step on the scale and your weight drop. And is it the fact that your weight dropped that day that means that you are doing it correctly, or is it the whole momentum that it took for you, all the repetitive workout you were doing that took you right where you are with the weight loss? That is exactly the same thing in business, right? At the beginning, it's like a big boulder. I mean, I went to University of Colorado at Boulder, but anyway, at the beginning, it's a big boulder, right? You have to keep pushing, pushing, pushing. At first, it doesn't look like there's anything happening, right? You are stuck. No sales are coming through, but you are trying your best as possible to send some ads, because if you want to sell more, you have to be visible. People have to be able to find you, right? So you are sending some ad, but nothing is happening, and all of a sudden one day you just look at the bank account, or maybe you look at your stand store or at your store, and all of a sudden the numbers are changing, right? A side hustle is like pushing, like I say, a boulder uphill. At the beginning, it's slow and it will take some time, but as long as you don't give up, you will be fine. By month like 4 or 5, most people think like, oh, this isn't working, and they stop pushing. That is not you. And that is not going to be you, because this is your business. This is something you really want to do. So I will say, if you keep pushing through that friction, if you keep pushing, something is going to shift. The boulder start rolling. And that is what we call the tipping point. Because once it start rolling, it will roll and you will see some result. The problem, most people never make it there because they are trying to push 5 boulder at once. I'm one of those. I'm not even going to lie here. I am one of those, right? Because I was trying to do multiple things at the same time, because you think that, oh, it's by doing multiple things that you will get the money faster. So let me be real with you. The reason side hustle fail isn't because they are bad idea. No, they are not bad idea. Is one of I would say one of 3 things. I have done all of them wrong, right? And I have done all those 3 things wrong. The first is what we call fragmentation. So you are splitting your fragmentation, right? Fragment, dissecting, So you are splitting your energy across like many projects. You think, let me try federal contracting. That is, I'm talking about me here. Let me try federal contracting. Federal contracting. Let me try drop shipping. Let me try a podcast, which is what I'm doing right now. Let me try a digital product. All of them at the same time. It sounds smart, right? You think you are hedging your bets. But what actually happened is you are halfway committed to every single one and fully committed to nothing. So you are halfway committed to every single one of them, but you are fully committed to nothing. I learned this the hard way. When I was building like Camel Crunch, I was also building other things at the same time, simultaneously. I was like diluting my focus between Camel Crunch and like digital product, and same with like launching multiple federal contract without even like mastering the process itself. As you guys see in my previous video, if you haven't seen, you can go check it out, where I'm talking about like the middleman and everything like that. So I was trying to do everything at once and it wasn't working. The second thing after fragmentation is we have no clear revenue model. So you are building an audience or a product, but you haven't actually figured out how people are going to pay you, right? You are hoping it will become clear later. It won't. I see creators with thousands of followers that we can't monetize. And Myron Golden, sorry if I have to bring the guy again, he talks about it all the time. You don't need like 1 million followers to monetize. You don't need like 100,000 people. There are people that are fine with just 20,000, but those 20,000 are consistent with them, right? They have attention, but not like I'm talking about creator here. They have attention, but no mechanism to convert that attention into cash, right? So your side hustle needs a money answer from day one. Not a perfect answer, just a real one, right? So the third thing is, so you have consistency, I mean, you have a fragmentation and you have no clear revenue model. But the third thing is inconsistency disguised as strategy. Like I said, I was distracted because I am trying to do multiple projects at the same time. That is no longer a business. That is just distraction. That is just entertainment because you are split, right? You post content 1 week, you disappear for like 3 weeks, which is what I was doing. As you can see now, my reels are coming every day. It's actually coming now every 4 hours. Every 4 hours, you have a reel of me out there, right? Because I'm trying to be seen. I'm trying to build this brand, right? On how you can create your own side hustle, on how you can monetize your own story. And if you haven't got a link yet to monetize your story, go ahead. It will be the first comment on this chat, man. Just click on it and go ahead and get the guide. It's $27. If you want it, good. It's like a book. So if you want it, good. If you feel like you are good enough and you don't need it, hey, it's also good to you. Kudos to you. I'm just here to support people and help them find a side hustle because AI is here and AI is taking over the world, right? So because AI is taking over the world, guess what? You have to be prepared not for uh, uh, if, but it's for when you actually get a layoff, or it's for when that job of yours just disappear, right? Because AI took it. So you have to be prepared. You need some type of side hustle that is going to help you at least uh, keep not run a rat race. So, like I was saying, the people who cross the tipping point are the ones who show up whether they feel like it or not. They post consistently, they post regularly, same time, same cadence, same commitment, right? Which is what I am building right now because I understand that power. I understand the power of pushing a boulder up the hill, right? Slowly it goes, and all of a sudden momentum kicks in. So, what actually is the tipping point? The tipping point is the moment when your side hustle start generating enough revenue or momentum that you reinvest back into it without bleeding your main income. Because you still keep your job while you are doing your side hustle, right? Because at some point, your goal should be your hustle or your side hustle becoming your main income, and your main income maybe either you quit on it with style or maybe your main income become your side income. You see what I mean? So, and here's the thing, that moment is different from for everyone. That moment is really different for everyone. For like a federal contracting work, the tipping point was like landing my first contract. And I told you guys, once I get enough contract, then I will start doing courses. I don't want to start doing courses because I don't have enough in my resume, right? So be patient here, and I'm going to share soon like the government contract that I actually won once it's done, right? So suddenly I have a proof of concept, right? A proof of concept. First, I just wanted to make sure that government contracting is actually working. It's a thing, right? Because you kept seeing how other people are winning out there and you are not. You post. I mean, you keep submitting proposal and nothing happened, no friction, no nothing, So, but once you're winning, guess what? You start seeing that, oh, these are the mistakes. And even when you don't get contract, because for example, on my second submission, I went ahead and I submitted. It was for like a mortuary services, right? Where like I told you, I'm a middleman. I find someone who does the job and I just go ahead and bid on it. And I bet because they gave me such a high price and I used their price and go, and my price came to like 1 million something dollar. And the person that ended up winning the contract won it at $395,000. So why is mine like 1 million and for his it's like $395,000? Well, the difference is pricing, because you have people that are actually doing that job, that actually have the business and that bid directly with the federal government, right? So you just have to, it's a numbers game. It's like in sales, you just have to keep finding opportunity and keep submitting proposal, but also learning every time you are making a mistake. So I started learning like, okay, you are overpricing. You need to start coming down a little bit. But anyway, that is something that I will share with you here in a few couple of weeks, right? So, yeah, and if you want me to post a video about my first win in federal government contracting, go ahead and post a comment and I will look at it. I read everything. I'm looking at everything. I don't have a job right now, so the brother is like, hey, so the brother is like, I mean, I have side hustle, but anyway, you guys understand. So I had what we call a proof of concept, right? I had cash flow, and I could actually bid competitively on bigger opportunity, but I'm still not quite going that big, right? Because I'm doing what we call a set aside small business. But at least you go from like 10,000 and now you start thinking like, oh, maybe let me try reaching those 100,000, those 300,000. But at least that is how it works, right? And for the podcast, the tipping point was hitting like consistent weekly rhythm. Right now, I'm not monetized yet, but at least I'm to that point where I feel consistent that I can keep posting every single week without having to sweat. Because the main issue is like when you are struggling, when you are struggling to post because you are like, oh, I gotta go ahead and make a video today. So that is the point. And for my digital store product, I haven't really been making sales there, right? But it's there because the product you create, that is the beauty of starting a side digital product, because once you create it and you make sure everything is good and you post it, all now you have to do is collect. So that is pretty much the thing I'm doing right now. And I'm still waiting for those sales on the digital product because I keep it real, right? But the real tipping point is the one that matter is what we call psychology, right? It is psychological because it is when you stop asking, will this work? And you start asking, how do I scale this? I'm not at a scaling level yet because, like I said, in government contracting, I'm just really getting a rhythm of it. So I'm not on that level yet. But at least on my podcast is something that I'm like, no, I'm not giving up on this one anymore. Like I have thought about it, tried, left it, tried, left it. So now I'm not giving up on it. I'm going to stay with this for the long run. I don't care if I get one view or two view, as long as those are important people, important view that keep coming through. I will keep stacking, and all of a sudden, like I said, it's like pushing that boulder. Momentum will kick in. So the shift change everything, right? Your effort becomes intentional instead of hopeful, at least when you get to that tipping point. Because right now, with my podcast, I'm trying to get to that tipping point. Because as you guys see my view, right? I got like 24 view, I got like 22 view. If you guys could subscribe to the channel and help a brother make these type of video, that would be great. So now, the one thing that actually gets you there, I'm gonna make this simple, right? Because I have tested like this across multiple side hustles, and I said I started a lot. That is not the right strategy. I started a lot at the same time because I was thinking, like, oh, they say about diversification, right? You need to diversify. So I started putting my egg in many baskets, but the reality is I wasn't focused on any of them. I was half on each one, but you are not focused on nothing. So let me tell you this. It's not a secret. It is not sexy, but it works. You need revenue model and distribution channel that you control, right? And that is the tipping point. The tipping point, like the triggering point, right? So let me ask you something, or let me break this down. Revenue model means that you know exactly how someone pays you. Some people are using Stripe, right? Not eventually, right now, right? You need right now. Are they buying a product, a service, a subscription, an affiliate, or eventually like are they trying to do what we call a commission and ad revenue? You need to name it. So then distribution channel means you have a way to reach out to people that doesn't depend on an algorithm changing or a platform shutting down, right? So you have to also reach out to people. And I tell you what, the best, like when I did insurance, I'm telling you guys, I did so many things. When I did insurance, the first thing they ask you is to reach out to who are your first audience, the people around you, your family member. They want you to start with them, because if just one of them start, then the business start as well on your end, and you start making some type of cash flow coming in, right? So that could be like an email list as well, like that could be direct sales process, and that could be a podcast audience you own, like this one, like I own this one, right? That could also be like relationship with vendors or contractor. You need to find a way to get your money. That is just the way it is, right? And when I was building like Camel Crunch, the revenue model was a straightforward, right? Sell chips directly, which is why I have my website. By the way, if you don't know my website, it's actually called camelcrunch.com. Go ahead on camelcrunch.com and order your box of chips right now. You know what I mean? Hey, brother, man. Hey, I'm the only one sponsorizing my show. So I keep looking over there like if I'm looking at something when the camera is here, right? So because I put my second screen over there. But anyway, so when I was building Camelcrunch, the revenue model was like a straightforward, right? You get in my store, camelcrunch.com, and you buy the chips and I sell you directly. The link, the payment is already there. But my distribution was weak at first, right? Just using the website. I was just using the website. I haven't even used Facebook, and I was also using the word of mouth. That is just how you start a business. So the moment I started building direct relationship with like retailer and connecting with like my community one on one, that is when things started shifting. It's not where I want to yet, but you know, the federal government contracting is the same thing. You need to reach out to CO, right? Contracting officer. Like the revenue model is obviously so obvious, right? You win a bid, you get paid. That is pretty simple with the federal contracting. But the distribution is your network. You have to talk with those contracting officers. You have to call them. They need to put an email to the face or to the phone number or at least to the voice, right? So every time when I see a contract, I call the contracting officer first, asking information like, hey, is there anything that will break or make this contract? Like, what is something you are looking for that will stand out in particular, you know? So I'm always trying to do that because I want him to recognize me. I want him to hear this accent so that next time when I decide to meet him again and things like that, he will be like, oh, you are that guy from Motana Speed LLC, right? I will be like, yep, that's me. So, yeah, that's me. But anyway, you guys understand. So you have to build relationship, and you are like a circulation. You are like money. Money has to be in circulation in order to maintain its value or gain more value, right? So the value of dollar doesn't do you nothing if it's in your pocket, but if it's in circulation, that is how you make more money. So you too, as a human being, you have to be in circulation and make more money that way by being in contact, by having a community, by meeting people out there. That is just the way it is. This is business, man, and here's why it matters. Without a revenue model, you are building a hobby. Without distribution, without like a distribution you
It's
control, you
22
are at the
hours.
mercy of luck, right? So you need to control your distribution, and you need to build a revenue. You need to build relationship. So if you are listening, again, if you are listening and you are running a side hustle feels stuck, here is what you can do this week, or maybe you can do today. You need to write down your revenue model in one sentence, right? Like, how does someone pays you? Then write down your distribution channel. Where do your customer actually come from? Like, where are your customers? Where are they coming from? Where are you meeting them? How are they finding your product? Or where do they need to come from? If you answer both of those clearly, that is why you are stuck. Not because the idea is bad, but because the business model is maybe fuzzy. So you have to be able to answer those questions clearly. Because if you can't, you are stuck. One of those two things are crystal clear. Your effort becomes 10 times more efficient. You know exactly what you are building for. You are building toward. Like you know who you are trying to reach out to, and you also you stop wasting energy maybe in some area, or wasting time in some area. Like you stop wasting energy on things that don't matter, and you focus instead on how you can get paid. Brother gotta get paid. If you ever watch the show Martin, I forgot the comedian name. Hey, it's all good, man. This is how. Can I get my money? Brother gotta get paid. But anyway, this is the difference between a side hustle and a side business, right? A side hustle is something that you do, right? A side hustle is just something that you do. A side business is something that works for you, right? And the tipping point, that moment where it flipped from one to the other. You see, when it flipped from side hustle to a side business, that is when you got a clarity on revenue, on distribution, and you have got the discipline to show up consistently. I have been on both sides, guys. I have been on both sides of that tipping point multiple times. I said I was starting things and quitting and starting and quitting. Like, but the reality is not gonna go. It's not going to take you anywhere. I'm telling you, the effort doesn't get harder when you cross it. It actually get easier because you are now pushing in the right direction. You are pushing in the right direction. That's why it get easier. So it doesn't get harder, but you need to be focused. If you found this helpful, I need you to go ahead and hit the subscribe button, drop a comment, and tell me which side hustle you are working on and where you think you are stuck. Go ahead and leave a comment. And hey, if you want if you want to dive deeper into building like a personal brand around your story, that is what Bless One Podcast is about, man. We are here every week. Thanks for tuning in. I will catch you on the next episode. And as you guys know, I like to turn my podcast. I like to end my podcast by saying God bless. But before I say God bless, go ahead on my stand store. The link is right here on this episode. Go ahead, click on it, and go ahead and get you a guide on how to monetize your story, and also a guide on how you can start a side hustle, and the side hustle that are out there that can pay you the most money right now, from $0 to $5,000. So if you like this episode, please go ahead and subscribe. And of course, don't forget CamelCrunch.com, man. Those are the best chips you will have, right? Charles Barker like to say, guarantee. But go ahead and get Camel Crunch. At least try us, man. Try our product and see how healthy you feel. So God bless, man. Peace.